Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
Oh,
So we're doing a Dungeon Dragons talk. So me and Gabe are talking. What are we saying today? So we'll go.
we're going through some spells I think people are forgetting about recently,
Cool.
and some monsters, but you can use monsters what are useful as allies. What could be used as allies, really?
Yeah.
What I think would think it should be used in more campaigns.
Brilliant. Um, and whilst we chat, I'm going to be doing basically campaign prep for Friday, for the campaign that we're doing. But yeah, Gabe, you've got the information in front of you, so yeah, just take it away when you're ready.
I'm ready. So, um, hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm just streaming about spells and just doing a talk.
Okay.
Yep, we're
At which
streaming.
point
Oh,
are you?
sweet.
Which spell?
Oh, Tim, you're in there as well.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, we're just going to be talking spells and monsters whilst I do prep in the background, and yeah, we're just streaming as well. So yeah, you guys chat, and yeah, let's continue. So
Okay.
yeah.
So,
Hmm.
so right now I'm talking about Elemental Evil Player's Compendium spells. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I know. I don't know which spells there were.
Well, I'm gonna start talking for my first spell,
Mm,
Erupting Earth. It doesn't do. It's a third level spell. It doesn't do as much damage as Fireball, but it's pretty darn close, and can make difficult terrain in this area. Basically, it's the same thing as Fireball, but also if it does a little less damage, but with an extra effect. So basically, you cause an eruption of Earth to blast out, dealing 3d6 bludgeoning damage if you fail a dexterity saving throw, or half if you do. And additionally, the area in the 20-foot square where you use it, so like a fireball, is difficult terrain
Cool.
for now on. So it's like a perfect escape thing if you want to, if you're running away, and it's like a little, or another fireball if you want to help control the area. No one uses the spell, so I thought it was like, why not? Can be pretty good with an extra effect.
yeah,
What do you
it's pretty good. Um, the only or no, bludgeoning damage is actually better than fire damage in D&D
Yeah,
because it's a spell, which makes it automatically magical damage. So yeah,
magical bludgeoning damage. Nothing's really immune to magical bludgeoning damage.
I think there
Interesting.
are things that are immune to bludgeoning damage in total.
But not magical.
I think there are, as far as I know, there are monsters that have actually, for example, I don't know which ones it were, but skeletons, for example, have, how was it? They have resistance against piercing damage,
Yeah.
also magical, and there are monsters that have the same thing for bludgeoning damage, for example.
Oh. Well, so there is some things, but I think it's more. It's less common.
That's
Yeah.
so few and far in between that I will look up now.
It's so far and few and far between that I thought like erupting earth could be like a really great spell for like control. You can do it as a running
Um,
away spell,
if you want to know, there is one monster in D&D that actually has immunity to bludgeoning damage.
which is a lot less than fireball.
Yeah. Let's see it. How many do have resistance against it? Okay, that's a bit more. Most of them are planned. Okay, yes.
Okay. So I was thinking, like, why doesn't everyone use this? Why do you think so, Tim? Because anyone can get it on D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond,
Yeah,
isn't it?
but because it's not so commonly known. Fireball is the spell for area of effect damage. Who knows Erupting Earth even?
Yeah, it's just like a
That's,
more uncommon spell. I think it could be
yeah,
very useful, though.
it can be pretty useful. Oh, the area is actually smaller than Fireball.
Yeah, but it's still pretty big. A 20-foot cone,
No, it's a cube.
20-foot cube.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that's a way smaller area.
what is isn't fireball 20-foot?
20-foot radius sphere.
Beer.
Yeah, 40 foot in diameter.
Isn't 20-foot cubes like the same thing though?
Nope.
You're gonna have to show me that later. But yeah, erupting earth can be pretty useful
I will calculate it for you.
there. It's a little bit smaller, so that's another like downside.
So, a 20-foot cube has a square area of 40 square feet. A sphere has a square area, so the circle of the sphere has with 20 feet has a square area of, let's look that up, of 125 square feet.
Okay, it's a lot smaller, but it's still
Yeah.
But it still can be used like in smaller passages. And why do you need that
Yeah.
much space for a monster? It's usually just does more damage than good.
Yeah, you can. So where it is good if you have more closed quarters.
Yeah, it's better for close quarters, but it's still a pretty good spell, I would say.
Yeah, it is pretty good as far as I'm concerned.
I just looked it up. And like, why has no one ever used this? So
Yeah. If I would make a Earth-themed character, I would probably use it.
I'd probably use it as a general spell if I'm tired of Fireball. Because Fireball's still the best spell. But if you're tired of Fireball and want to try something different, try Erupting Earth.
That one is good. But in my opinion, so the thing about Fireball is it deals the most damage on its level, nearly the most damage. I don't know if there's even anything that deals as much damage as Fireball on its level.
But the problem is it has like the most fire is the most resisted thing in the game.
Yeah, Yeah, and I think it is actually the second most common.
What's the most common?
I think it's poison.
No one uses poison though.
Nothing uses poison. That's the thing. Poison is such a often used damage type for monsters and their immune resistances and immunities, but if you talk about spells, it gets mostly overlooked because it don't has really good spells. Nearly every poison spell is shit.
Well, I'm going to go over to my next spell I wanted to go over. Tidal Wave.
Tidal Wave. I often when I hear it, I often think about here. How's the other control water?
Control water. Yep.
Control water is really good.
Yeah, I want to go. That's next. That's next on the list. I want to go over, but Tidal Wave I've actually seen used in combat against a dragon because it can knock anyone down if it hits with are flying.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. 10 feet wide, up to 30 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 10 feet tall. So if you're just starting to fly and thinking like, haha, I'm above from your melee range, no, Tidal Wave can just knock it down. And it does 48 bludgeoning damage, and you're knocked prone if you get hit. So it's not just used for regular stuff.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
So it also can make, if you're like have dark vision, the enemies don't. You can just use the water to take out on all the flames in the area. So that's just a little tip I can go over today.
And it actually has a bigger area, not volume, but area than Fireball.
Yeah.
The area of this thing is 300 square feet.
Yeah. It's pretty good. This doesn't do much damage, but if you want to knock somebody prone, this is like, or try to control the area.
That thing is really good in my opinion.
The only problem
Especially
is,
because it actually can separate, like you can get a entire. So the thing about Fireball is that you can't place it badly because it's a sphere, and spheres are hard to handle in D&D. Oh, I just noticed I calculated the square area of Fireball wrong.
well, correct it now, I guess, and
Yeah. Fireball is actually bigger than most spells.
that makes sense.
With 2,530 square feet area. Yeah. That thing is huge.
Yep. But next, we should probably talk about our next magic spell, Control Water, one you mentioned. Control Water.
Yeah.
Which is basically a very good spell. You can make. I'm trying to find the spell description, but I can't find it for some reason now.
Until the spell ends, you control any freestanding water inside the area you choose that is a cube up to 100 feet on its side. You can choose from any of the following effects when you cast the spell as an action on your turn. You can repeat the same effect or choose a different one. Flood. You cause the water level of all standing water in the area to rise as much as 20 feet in the area. If the area includes a shore, the flooding water spills over onto dry land. If you chose an area in a large body of water, you instead create a 20-foot tall wave that travels from one side of the area to another and then crashes down. Any huge or smaller vehicle in the wave path are carried with it to the other side. Any huge or smaller vehicles struck by the wave have a 20% chance to capsizing. The water level remains elevated until the spell ends, or you choose a different effect. If the effect produces a wave, the wave repeats on the start of your next turn, while the flood effects last.
You can also redirect flow. You can make a move it area flowing water in area direction you choose, even if the water has to flow over obstacles, up walls, or any unlikely direction. Water moves, so basically you can make a river start flowing into a city at a city's wall, but making it flow upwards.
Mm.
Well,
There is part water. You can cause water in the area to move apart and create a trench. The trench extends across the spell's area and separates water from a wall to either side. The trench remains until the spell ends, or you choose a different effect. The water then slowly fills the trench over the course of the next round until the water level is restored.
you could sink a ship with that ability,
Yeah.
like a lot
Or
of
you
ships.
can go full osmosis.
Then you can just make a whirlpool what does damage to ships also.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
Which is
thinking that we do this conversation thing every Monday,
Yep.
because it gives me a chance to work on the next Friday's session and you guys a chance to chat, which is awesome. I'm liking this. Let's make it a weekly thing, okay? Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Next spell. Let me go back.
Oh yeah, the part water thing is probably why clerics actually get control water.
Yeah, but it's also wizard get it, so.
Yeah, but
Also, it keeps us updated on all things D&D.
Well, speaking of other control spells, have you heard of control winds and how bad it is?
control wins.
It can be pretty bad. It only works if you don't know what. It can be used in situational situations, but other than that, it's not very useful.
Can't you say that the same with most spells though?
A gust picks up in the medium, constantly blowing a direction you design. The wind intensities are calm, moderate, or strong. If the wind is moderate strong, range weapon attacks that leave or enter the cube pass through it has a disadvantage on attack rolls. If the wind is strong, any creature moving against the wind must spend 1 extra foot of movement for every foot moved.
Oh god, you can you take control of the air in a 100-foot cube.
Yep. You
That's
can
a
knock down.
hilariously huge area.
Yeah, but the only use I can think of is knocking down flying enemies.
Yeah, downdraft. And that is fun with a 100-foot cube.
Yep.
So, if
They
you have a DM that heavily uses flying creatures, because you, for example, if you have a barbarian, many like melee characters, and your DM uses mostly
flying enemies, just use
flying enemies, that is a way to do it.
But any other situation, it's just meh. Because the only other ability it has is just to.
But the good thing is that it is so huge that you can actually knock down flying enemies quite easily.
Yep. So like, if a dragon's flying way above you, you can just like get down.
Yeah, but for other things, like
yeah.
I said, situational.
Yeah, at best. What is not situational and another wind spell, which is higher level, but it's pretty useful. Have you heard of Whirlwind?
Nope.
A whirlwind housed in a 10-foot radius in a 30-foot cylinder center pipe. Until the spell's end, you can make an action to move the whirlwind in a 30-foot in any direction on the ground. The whirlwind sucks up any medium or smaller objects that are secured and that are worn or carried by anyone. A creature must make a dexterity saving throw to escape the whirlwind or take 10d6 bludgeoning damage if they succeed, if they fail, and then take half to succeed. And then if they fail, they are restrained in the whirlwind. When the creature starts their turn in the whirlwind, if they fail their strength saving throw, they're automatically just pulled higher up.
A restrained creature can use an action to make a strength or dexterity check. Oh no!
Yeah, no saving throw.
If successful, the creature is no longer restrained by the whirlwind, and it's hurled 3d6 times 10 feet away in a random direction.
That basically makes your party. This is the ultimate party. Say screw you.
Oh dear.
Basically, the ultimate screw you spell to like your party. If your party has a comp all sticking together, Nope, you're all getting picked up and launched in random directions. Now you have to strategize on yourselves. I want to use this, but in our campaign, Tim, but I don't know how yet.
Air dragon.
Possibly, or we can have a wizard. We can have a wizard dragon. Just use it when the party's fighting it. Like,
Oh yeah, I found a funny homebrew.
I found something funny too, but we're gonna talk about that later.
Oh, you can talk about it anytime you want. But
I found a homebrew.
we've got spells to talk to. Spells first, then monsters, then yes.
Yep.
But Tim, if you get things
I'll
like
just
that,
say what it is. A
you-
magnetite dragon.
well, if you get things like that, write it down for things to bring up later. So
Yeah.
we want all the topics. So yes, we will talk about it in order. Saves us going
Next
on tangents then.
Yep.
Next
so,
spell.
Vitriolic Spear.
What?
You're gonna lick whose spear?
Vitriolic Spear. It's what it's called.
Okay.
You point at your location within range, and a glowing 1-foot diameter ball of emerald acid stakes there and explodes in a 20-foot radius spear. Each creature in the area must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, they take 10d4 acid damage. And at each of the end of their turns, if they fail, they take another 5d4 acid damage at the end of the next turn. If they succeed, they take half the original damage and no damage after that. It's basically the ultimate. You have to take more damage if you fail. What do you think?
Yeah.
Which one was it?
I'll spell it out for you in the chat. Bitr.
Oh. Velotric sphere, right?
I mispronounced it, didn't I? Whatever, however you. I'll just do the official definition. Oh, it doesn't have official voiceover. Never mind. Throughout, it does a lot of damage. It's a little more than Fireball, but it's just a higher level.
Is that? I don't think that's actually more damage.
The 5d4 added to it if they fail.
Oh yeah. Mm.
It can do more damage than Fireball technically, and it's smaller range, but it's basically guaranteed damage if they fail later. So if you mess up a turn, you still have more guaranteed damage.
Mm.
It's a simple damage spell. It's pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
So after that spell, let's go into some just basic cantrips. Control flames and control water. Not control water. Control flames, and that's basically it. The only cantrip I could find from this thing.
Control flames.
Yep.
In my opinion, it is not strong in any way, but it is a good role-playing thing.
Well, control flames, you can just then expand any fire. So if you're like a pyromaniac, you can expand fire around.
Mm. But it is the fire in a 5-foot cube.
Yeah. You can also stop more fires by extinguishing it in 5-foot cube.
Mm.
You can double or half the area of bright light and dim light cast to the flame. Change
The
its
thing
color.
yeah, the changing color is good.
And cause simple saves. It's good for role play wise.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It is
But I
good
have-
for role playing. For example, a character that is heavily associated with flames and fire. That is a really good spell for him. I actually had a character that was heavily themed around fire. He had that spell. He had nearly every fire spell I could find up to, I think, 6th level. Yeah, up to 6th level. So yeah.
Technically, you could do this in 15-foot cube and put extend the fire in 15-foot and 5-foot because you can have 3 effects activated.
Yeah. But each of them uses an action.
Just thought I wanted to talk about that because it would be interesting. You control water. So I'm going to. This is basically just about the elemental evils because everyone can use them. For now, some of these spells. I'm going to change that. Have you heard of Horde Withering? I'm not going to say the first part.
Yeah.
You draw the moisture from everything in a 30-foot cube within range. Each creature that must make a Constitution saving throw. I have not heard of many things will do Constitution saving throws. So that was interesting to me.
Blight actually does. And this is a stronger Blight effect that concentrates on an area instead of a single target.
Yep.
It has technically literally the same properties as Blight, but it does more damage. Yeah.
It does 12d8, but anything with Dan's bushes, this thing will die instantly. Luckily, it's an 8th level spell, so we can't use it.
Yeah, and it's constructs and undead aren't affected, of course, but
correct.
Plant and water elementals make their saving throw with disadvantage.
Interesting.
It actually does not have the blight property, I think.
No, non-magical plants in the air that aren't creatures as trees.
Yeah,
and
that I know, but it does not actually deal max damage to plants, and right?
Yeah.
Blight does that. Blight deals max damage to a plant, and non-magical plants die instantly, also with Blight. Yeah.
So that was interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a good damage spell.
Now, here's an interesting spell you haven't probably heard of: Transfused Rock. You can transport rocks into mud and muds into rock. Basically, here's how it works. You can non-magic rock of any sort of the area becomes equal to a thick flowing mud that remains for the spell duration. So basically, you could make an area of 120 feet instantly mud where there's all rocky. Each foot in your character's go costs 4 feet of movement. So you can make an entire. So if somebody was if an army was chasing you, you could like a castle. You can just make that whole area into mud, and just watch them slowly trudge up to you as they try to catch up as you run away. Then, for your next action, you can also transform. Also, on their first time they get into the mud, they must make a saving throw, or sink in the mud and be restrained. But also, you can turn this mud back into stone and just make them forever trapped until they break out with a DC 20 strength saving throw. Or by breaking it. You can also transform mud. You can also transform a rock above you into mud and then back into stone and drop it drop the rock on their heads.
Nice.
The mud fall. So basically, if you cast a spell on the ceiling, the mud falls. Any creature under the mud when it falls must make a dexterity saving throw or take 48 bludgeoning damage. Then you can turn it back into rock and capture the faces. And if you really are creative, want to be creative with the spell, it's just an interesting spell. I thought I would want to talk about. Guys, got any other opinions on it, Tim?
No, it is just interesting. It makes it's a bit strong that it is a that the thing to break the rock is a DC 20 strength check, and it is not against your spell save DC or anything.
Nope. Nope. And it's also you try to break open the rock with your weapon.
Yeah.
Then you have to do a certain amount of damage to break open. It'd be good in a dungeon run. It'd be really good with that, just constantly messing with rocks.
Mm. Yeah.
Now I'm going to get out of this talk about elemental creatures and elemental evil compendium and go over some spells that are more interesting, what people don't use as much.
Sounds good.
Basically, do you remember Dream, Tim? Do you remember that conversation?
Dream?
Yeah.
Not quite.
Dream is a D&D spell.
Yeah, I know.
What makes you be able to choose a target when they're sleeping. And you or a willing creature you touch, so it doesn't have to be you, enter a person's dreams. So they can't take any actions or move. You can converse with the target as long as they want. So basically, this is a good sending alternative to sending spells if you know when they're going to. If you know at night, like when people go to sleep, as long as your ally is not an elf, because elves are not affected by this, or creatures who do not sleep. You can also, basically, it's a really good talking spell because you control all the terrain and just point out things. But you can also make a nightmare out of this dream and cause your enemy to not get any benefits from a long rest and take 3d6 psychic damage if they fail their wisdom saving throw. You can either choose to make it a nightmare or a normal dream. It's a very interesting communication spell, I thought, and I thought this is basically a better version of sending because you can do more than 25 words, but it has a little more caveats.
Hmm.
But only wizards and bards can gain.
Wizards, warlocks, and bards.
Oh.
And the Circle of the Grassland Druid gets it for free.
I did not know that.
I don't know why the Dream Druid does not get Dream. Which is in some way hilarious because, we have a Dream Druid. He has Dream, right? He has Dream, right? No?
It's in the name. It's in the name, though.
Yeah.
The next spell is one I want to talk about, but it's mainly used for DMs. Guards and wards. Do you guys know what guards and wards do?
Nope, and I will look it up now.
It basically makes you your own little effects for your own secret base. Like basically a base helper. If you do it for a year, they become permanent. You can get a ward that protects up to 2,500 square feet of floor space.
Mm.
A 50 area feet square or 1,500 foot squares or 25 10-foot squares. The warded area can be up to 20 feet tall and shaped as you desire. The ward can be several stories of stronghold by dividing the area among them. So you don't have to do exactly the same square every time. You can divide those squares up into different areas, like in front of each door or hallway. So guards and wards create all these effects in all warded areas. Corridors, fog fills the area, making them heavy obscured. In addition, at every interaction or branching path offering a choice of direction, there's a 50% chance that a creature other than you will believe it's going the opposite direction of the one which you choose. So basically, you think you're going left and right, you think you're going right, but you're actually going left. You basically get like a bad sense of direction if you don't do that. All doors are magically locked in the ward area. So arcane lock cell. And you can cover up to 10 doors with an illusion, equivalent to the minor illusion, to make them appear plain as an ordinary wall. So basically, you can have 10 doors be completely invisible, and the rest of the doors have arcane locks on it.
Interesting.
Stairs are filled with a web spell, and these strands grow 10 minutes after 10 minutes if they're burned or destroyed in any way, so they're permanently there. And there are some other effects, but these effects don't affect people you choose who can go in there.
Mm.
So basically, you can place Dancing Light in 4 corridors also. You can place 2 magic mouths in different locations. You can place 2 stinking clouds in 2 locations. They also return 10 minutes after they are dispersed. You can place a gust of wind in 1 corridor of the room, and you can place a suggestion spell in 1 location. In a 5-foot square. So basically imagine you go all the way to the end of the dungeon, and then you get a suggestion spell, and you're told to go all the way back.
Mm.
Yeah, and you can't just dispel this magic, because it only will dispel that single effect after you cast the spell magic. And then everything comes all the way back after a certain period of time.
Mm.
So only if you are allowed in here, or really, really want to go through the major dispel magic, you have to do that. The problem is, it takes a year to make this permanent.
It's a thing that is good if you have a
Downtime.
so, yeah, downtime, that's a thing, and you're higher level character. Or that's a thing I imagine, the in Eberron there is one kind of dwarves. I think Dragon Mark of protection, not protection, what was it again? Mark of Warding, that's it. And they actually get Alarm, Mage Armor, and Arcane Lock. And later you get if you can cast spells, your you get spells added to your spellcasting list. For example, Alarm, Armor of Agathis, Arcane Lock, Knock, Glyph of Warding, Magical Circle, Neon Secret Chest, Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound, and Anti-Life Shell, which are all like protecting, like spells that do are supposed to protect you or an area or your belongings. And I think it's really funny, the idea of having like their main quarter, like not only their headquarter but also the other places they live in, like guarded by the spell, because they are the kind of people that I suppose would do that probably, because I feel I feel like they get Arcane Lock for free, which is like, okay, yes, here's
Well,
your Arcane Lock. You can cast, I think, once per long rest from level 3 on.
now, my next question. What do you think of Private Sanctum? Do you know what that spell is?
I have not read through it.
Private Sanctum basically makes you unable to teleport to this location or go anywhere in this location. You can't see sound in this location. The barrier prevents any warded creatures to get anything see through it, including dark vision. Divination spells do not work. T-cart and planetary travels does not work. So basically, you cannot see anything what's going on in this area. It is your own private area. It's called private. It's called Private Sanctum. It is very useful for if you're trying to do stealthy. You can cast a spell and just have people not be able to get to you, including Dream, which is very useful.
You can't be targeted by divination spells.
Yep.
Nothing can.
Nice.
Planar travel is blocked within the area.
Yep.
Wait, when you cast a spell using a spell slot of 5th level, you can increase the size of the cube by 100 by 5th level or higher. You can increase the size of the cube by 100 feet for each slot beyond force. Thus, you could protect a cube of that can be up to 200 feet on one side by using spell slot of 5th level.
Yep.
Wait a second. How big can you actually make that?
And you can put a private sanctum next to another private sanctum, next to another private sanctum, next to a private sanctum.
Yeah, you can actually make so freaking huge areas with that. That there are probably in if you play a really high magic campaign, there are probably places that just have private sanctums all over the place.
Yep.
Which is like, oh no, nobody can teleport in the city. Why? We had 500 wizards cast private sanctum here. The entire city is just blocked from planar traveling, teleportation, and divination.
No spying for you.
Yeah. You can't scry in the area because sensors created by divination spells can't appear inside the protected area or pass through the barrier at its perimeter.
Amazing.
I'm basically going over protection spells, basically, right now.
There is one that is, I think, 7th level or something like that.
What is it called?
I don't. I will look it up.
Okay, while we're going with that, symbol or glyph of warding? I talked about this earlier. I wanted to go
like
over
I
this.
said already, both are good. Glyph of warding is cheaper.
Yep.
At least from the spell slots wise.
That's cool.
Oh no, it was Forbiddance. It's a 6th level spell I meant.
Forbiddance. Let me look that up.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to talk about symbol and glyph of warding because that they if we're going over defenses things, they're like required.
Yeah.
How do you spell forbiddance?
Forbiddance.
IDDENCE. Nope, I misspelled it.
So, You create a ward against magical travel that protects up to 40,000 square feet of floor space to a height up to 30 feet above the floor.
What
For
spell
the
is this?
duration, creatures. What?
What spell is this?
Forbiddance.
Forbiddance. Okay.
For the duration, creatures can teleport into the area or use portals such as those created by the Gate spell to enter the area. The spell proves the area against planar travel and therefore prevents creatures from accessing the area by the way of the astral plane, Feywild, Shadowfell, or the plane shift spell. In addition, the spell damages types of creatures that you choose when you cast it. Choose one or more of the following: Celestials, Elementals, Fae, Fiend, and Undead. When a chosen creature enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, the creature takes 5d10 radiant or necrotic damage. Your
Wow.
choice. When you cast the spell, your choice when you cast the spell. When you cast a spell, you can designate a password. A creature that speaks the password as it enters the area takes no damage from the spell. The spell's area can't overlap with the area of another forbidden spell. If you cast Forbiddance every day for 30 days in the same location, the spell lasts until it's dispelled and the material components are consumed on the last casting.
Interesting.
Why it's good is really that it's such a big area. It only needs 30 days to establish it for, so it has to be dispelled. That's so much less than most spells with these with such effects or anything, because most spells need a year for that, and it's like a month. It actually deals damage.
All right, guys. I want to continue to talk about spells, but I need to get off, and the map is ready for you guys for next week, for next Friday. But what we'll do, like I said, is I want to do this every Monday. So we'll continue to do spells, and then we'll go into creatures next week. But yeah, if both of you want to write down some things that you want to chat about as we go, like from spells to monsters to different things that's coming out, now is basically the time to talk about it.
I already have the monsters. I just didn't get to it because I was talking too much about spells.
No worries. No, that's no worries. There's no rush. We're going to do this every Monday, all right? So, no worries.
All right.
But, yeah, I've got to head off now. But thank you both for joining us for this D&D chat, and thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you all next Monday, and obviously we'll catch you on Friday as well. We're doing Friday. So yeah, until then, I'll catch you all later. Thank you, everybody. Bye. Ending the stream in 3, 2, 1.